Hi everybody, welcome to my art journal watch along video. I'm Sarah, the artist behind Pinselgeschichten, and today I'm making something with windows and doors. I took doors only because I was not in the mood for windows, but I chose something that is fairly popular with fantasy movie watchers probably, which is the Hobbit doors. I like weird shaped doors or lovely colored doors, and I really like the Hobbit one, so I took that one for this challenge. Now I'm pretty much using Tombow markers and water brush only for this painting. I didn't use my other watercolors because they're more dull when they dry, and I wanted some comic-y or fairy tale-ish looking painting in the end, very vibrant with the colors. So I took the scene of the first Hobbit movie pretty much and just, painted my view of that scenery, which is the round door in the earth underneath lovely grass in a meadow. And I'm using different kinds of greens and brown to color my first page here around the door, just to, have the basic colors set in. I'm pretty much only using Tombows. I'm using a tiny bit of colored pencil and permanent markers, but not really much. The Tombows are the main medium that I'm using this week. And I'm just, pretty much coloring this scenery. Now, I really liked the yellow door in the first movie, orange being my favorite color. Yellow or a warm yellow is close enough that I didn't want to change it to orange, so I just used the yellow door of the movie and colored it in with 2 tones of yellow. Setting the scene here, it's fairly fast. The whole painting took me about an hour, a bit more than an hour, but not a lot more. But the coloring itself went quite fast. So I started to cut the door because I wanted to open, but the paper is so thick that I couldn't really get through with my X-Acto knife, so I just had a little incision and then I cut it with my scissors so that I could open the door. On the second page, which will be the background, I just painted a scenery of a road or a path that you'd go along. It could be related to the Lord of the Rings movies, but it also is very much related to the journey that I'm now on, trying to get settled into my new life and stuff like that. So it's a bit, it fits for both scenes and topics here. So I just used my Tombows again and had a little path and, some scenery, just some grass, some flowers, a tree, a lovely sky. That's it. And when you open the door, you can see that once the piece is finished. So this is just very simple illustration kind of style, nothing fancy, nothing with a lot of layers. It's just, some painting, drawing, sketching, illustrating, whatever you want to call it, and that's that. Only a minimal kind of shading going on, just a tiny bit, because I wanted it to look like, a children's book or something. I don't know. So once I had glued both pages together, I added some shrubbery and flowers and greenish things around the Hobbit hole with some green color there, and then I added some more depth to the wooden planks that are the door, just to make the piece come together. Some flowers, a bit of red, just to have another kind of vibrant color and not only the yellow. A few tiny scribbles and dots of white to have another kind of flower. And that pretty much is it for the coloring part. I added a tiny bit of permanent marker in black and a tiny bit of colored pencil in brown, just to have a bit more of a gradient shadow underneath the grass when towards the door. And then I added a doorknob, which I just colored light green with acrylic spray paint. And then I'm, like I said, just adding a bit of black marker, tiny bit of white marker, not much, just to have some accents around the door and just to have some lines on the grass. That's that. So the major thing that I'm adding here with the markers is the door handle. I'm having it made like a button, and these hinges there at the door with black and white permanent marker, and that's pretty much it. That's my page for this week, and I'm adding only a tiny bit of ink here to the button before I add the details. I took some dark green color there, and that's very much it. So I hope you enjoyed watching along this very short and very fairy tale-ish coloring illustration kind of page. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Also, if you feel like doing the good YouTube stuff, thumbs up, subscribe, share, go ahead. I'd love that. If you have time to create this week, this would be lovely. And I'm going to see you next week with a new art journal. Take good care and have a good one. Bye-bye.